Good morning. We're going to try that one more time. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Chaplain Marcus Haley. I serve the Trinity College community as college chaplain and dean of spiritual and religious life. Welcome to each of you, students, faculty, staff, alumni, family, and friends. As we gather both to enroll new members of our community and to gather as a Trinity College community to kick off our academic year, let us be mindful that we stand on sacred ground. Wendell Berry reminds us that there are no unsacred places, only sacred spaces and desecrated spaces. This space is made sacred by the community that gathers here to support our collective mission, to prepare each of our students to be bold, independent thinkers who lead transformative lives. This space is made sacred by those who learn and by those who clean, by those who instruct and by those who serve, by those who lead and by those who support our community from near and far. Mindful of all of that, let us pray. God of our yesterdays, todays, and all of our tomorrows, we ask that you grant your blessing upon our gathering as we begin this year. Make us diligent in our studies, faithful in our responsibilities, curious and compassionate in our encounters with others, joyous in our gathering, and courageous in our pursuit of knowledge. When we encounter the sacred spaces along our journey, teach us gratitude. When we discover desecrated places in need of transformation and healing in ourselves, others, and the world around us, teach us gentleness and compassion. All this we ask in the name of all that is sacred. Let it be. Ashe and Amen. Please be seated. I now ask the Secretary of the Faculty, Susan Massino, to deliver the opening remarks.
Good morning. As Secretary of the Faculty, I represent all of your Trinity professors in extending a warm welcome to you, the newest members of the Trinity community. Welcome to the class of 2025, to our transfer and to our IDP students, and to all new families. We're delighted you've chosen Trinity, and I know there is so much at this institution for you to discover, to learn, to share as you start this new chapter of your life and work towards your best future. There's one special thing we have in common. We hopefully will all be here to celebrate the historic occasion of the college's 200th anniversary in 2023. I'm committed to doing everything I can to help make sure this college is ready to face the next 200 years, and I feel so blessed and appreciative of this historic institution and this community. This event today marks the official opening of the academic year at Trinity College. It's a nearly 200-year-old tradition. You'll hear a great deal about traditions at Trinity, and that's because we are proud of our history and because we know that a Trinity education is as relevant and valuable today as it was 200 years ago. We believe in the education we offer, and we look forward to having you in our classrooms. We, the faculty, are here to teach you and to advance research and scholarship, very often in collaboration with you. As your professors, we want you to explore widely and deeply. We want you to be challenged. We want you to ask for help. We want you to grow, and we want you to succeed. We're here to help you do all of these things on your intellectual journeys at Trinity. We couldn't be more thrilled to start off this academic year together. Welcome to Trinity. It's now my pleasure to invite Jedrick Estrella, a member of the class of 2022 and president of the Student Government Association, to bring greetings from the student body.
Hello, everyone. Students, faculty, staff,
family, and friends. My name is Jedrick Estrella, and I would like to begin by saying what an honor it is to congratulate you all on beginning your journey at Trinity College. I was in your very shoes 3 years ago, and as I approach the end of my time here, I wish someone would have offered this piece of advice. Embrace the difficulty. I don't mean that only in the academic sense, as what you are about to experience is nothing short of difficult. Many of you are, for the first time, about to depart on some of the most defining years of your life. It may be difficult to make friends, get that good grade, or even get that internship, but it's in the pursuit of your goals where you will find the best journey. In my opinion, nothing that comes easy is as worthy as overcoming the obstacle. You all have overcome the very obstacle of making it here, and many of you are wondering what this experience will bring and the places you'll go. I wondered the very same things. I've lost, I've won, and most of all gained an opportunity to learn what it means to stand on my own, and that never would have been possible if I had not opened myself up to accepting what this community has to offer. You have to make your experience, and you have the decision to envision what comes out of it. It's very easy to fall into a bubble, and I want to make sure to open that up as much as possible for you to truly become a part of this community. We all have a responsibility to one another, not only as peers, but also as people, to make this campus our home. And it's simply not possible if everyone doesn't participate. So find something that gives you that fire and use that to build up yourself and your community. All communities need a set of standards to keep things just. Our set of standards is the integrity contract, and we ask you to take part as members of Trinity College in this communal promise. The integrity contract, which was written by and is administered by students, is both complicated and simple. It is complicated in that it is a fragile thing, a covenant among us all, an act of faith, faith that everyone will play his or her part. It is simple because it embodies the simple rules of common decency and respect, not just for each other, but also for our college. By choosing to matriculate at Trinity, each of us makes a commitment to intellectual honesty and academic integrity. We understand that doing our own work and fully crediting the work of others is essential to preserving the intellectual growth of the college. Each of us is responsible for knowing what constitutes academic dishonesty as defined in the student handbook, which you may find online. The integrity contract and the oath of matriculation, which Professor Messina will administer later in the ceremony, represent our commitment and promise to Trinity College and to each other. It is now my pleasure to invite Joe DiCristina, Vice President for Student Success and Enrollment Management, to tell you about the exceptional students of the class of 2025.
Thank you, Jedrick, and thank you for your leadership with our student body. What an awesome day this is. Before I begin to talk to all of you, I first want to say we should thank all of our staff in ABM, facilities, our orientation leaders, and our resident advisors for their work over the summer and, of course, these last 3 days as we change things up to be here with all of you. So please give a huge round of applause for that group of people. My welcome to new students, IDP students, our adult learners, our transfer students, our first years, and all of our families. This is the beginning of my 35th year in higher education. Somehow, actually my 52nd year if you include elementary and secondary school. Now I have to tell you, I'm not sure if my mom is watching this here today or not, but she would be very surprised that I'm standing here today because when I was 5 years old in 1969, not wanting to go off to kindergarten, I told my mom that school was a waste of good playtime. Funny how things change and actually how years move along. I've really come to appreciate the sheer joy of this time of year, the excitement of new opportunities, renewed acquaintance is in the air. Our upper class students are coming back to campus with energy and excitement. The faculty have prepared their courses, and the staff have readied the campus environment for all of us to live and learn together. Our new students and families, you bring joy to all of us to be here. It is wonderful to be with you. Now, all of us all of you, all of our families, we've met many challenges these past 18 months and counting. We continue to navigate a global pandemic. We continue to participate in various alliances to grapple with the important social issues during this moment in our world history. And each and every one of us continues to be engaged in important conversations about what it means to embrace change and to hear the concerns, worries, perspectives, and ambitions and aspirations of others. To arrive here today is an occasion for all of us to reflect and celebrate. So to start, new families and students, congratulations to each and every one of you. The sacrifices you have made to arrive here at this moment are significant. Through your hard work and your families together and your determination, you arrive at Trinity College at a key juncture in your lives. First, I have a message for our parents, our grandparents, and family members that join us here today. Thank you for all that you've done to guide and mentor your student. We recognize the efforts you put forth to help develop the curiosity, values, and interests in your student. Now, I wouldn't be giving a speech without a prop, and this goes out to all the parents. This is a painting that's in my room, in my office. Live, love, and laugh. This was given to me by my daughter 7 or 8 years ago. She's now 14 and in school here across the street. And I always keep that in mind because as I work, I often think about what it means to be a parent and have a child in college and what you want for them. And as you can see, she provided me 3 words to guide my life. To live, love, and laugh. Such simple words, but all full of so much meaning. As I said, I have this in my office to remind me of my role as a parent and that what I want to instill in my own children, the joy of life, to be able to live life to its fullest, to find a sense of who they are and their purpose, to find belonging, to care for others, and certainly, please, to enjoy life and to laugh every day. It's our hope that as you, as family members, transition to this next phase of your family's journey, that you will give your student the space to grow, to find the balance between dependence and independence, and to become a self-directed learner. Our college community is here to embrace your student, their motivation to learn, their desire to contribute to society, and to continue to develop as the young adults you expect. Campus resources, such as the Career and Life Design Center, are here to assist our students as they begin to imagine where life can take them. It is our hope that your student will find a sense of place in the world and to honor the values of respect, care, and integrity. Now, I'd like to speak to our newest bantams. You are here today because of your hard work and the care you put into the classroom, in your communities, at theater performances, at athletic competitions, at your job, importantly, as caregivers for your family and friends, as you traveled the world learning from different people, and at numerous other experiences and activities that prepared you for the next part of your journey. Because of these experiences, you are ready to engage in our community. You are ready to accept the responsibility that comes with the freedom of being in college. You are ready to see the world through your own eyes and to develop informed opinions and ideas that can help our society find its way through the myriad of global challenges that we face. We know that you will inspire our community to be the best that we can be. I know this because we have brought together a great cohort of students. Listen to this. This is awesome. We have 535 first-year students, 22 transfers, and 4 independent degree program adult learner students with us today. You're joining us from around the world. Out of thousands of students who applied to Trinity, we chose you, and we're so pleased you selected us. There are so many things for us to be proud of. You belong here. We saw the connection between you and Trinity when we read your applications. Our newest bantams are from everywhere, Geographically, our students are a diverse set of global learners. You represent 37 American states and 41 countries. 41 countries. 29 new students have enrolled after being part of the United World College Program, a secondary education program that enrolls students in 18 schools set on 4 continents with the mission of making education a force to unite people, nations, and cultures for peace and a sustainable future. And new bantams, because of all of you that sit here today, we now have 82 different countries and nearly every state in the United States represented in our entire student body. 23% of our students identify as Black, Indigenous, or persons of color. I'm proud to share that 13% of our students are first in their families to go to college. And we have a number of our students whose parents, siblings, and grandparents also attended Trinity. How awesome is this? Young people from around the world coming together to build community and to be a part of community in Hartford. The possibilities are endless. Possibilities are very special. Most impressive are not the stats alone, but what you've done and what really inspired the enrollment team to choose you. Joining us today, we have students that have built their own computers, developed their own nonprofits to support the needs of others, a person who's certified to be a rescue diver, and one who's an archery champion from the state of New York. You can shout yourself out if you want. No hands? All right. There's a nationally ranked Rubik's Cube solver. Gee, that thing always gets me, so congratulations to you on that. We also have podcast hosts, activists, and researchers. We have talented musicians that bring joy and smiles to their families and friends. Many of you were class presidents and were actively involved in service organizations and wrote about your plans to continue work on important global issues across the world. Simply put, all of us are proud to have you at Trinity. I know you will spend your time at Trinity engaged in important conversations that will lead you to new opportunities that you may not have envisioned for yourselves yet. It will be a time for self-discovery and a time to be passionate about learning. President Berger-Sweeney, first, all of us want to thank you for your leadership over these years that allows us to bring such great cohort of students here to Trinity College. And it is my honor to present to you a great group of bantams, a talented group that will cherish their next 4 years at Trinity, a group prepared and ready to contribute to our educational mission and to build community here at their new home. A group that is ready to live, love, and laugh. President Berger-Sweeney.
Thank you, Dean Joe. Great speech, and welcome, everyone. Matriculation seeks to welcome incoming students formally to this fellowship of learners that makes Trinity such a very special place to spend one's undergraduate years. Matriculation here at Trinity is unique in that this ceremony focuses on a book. And here's the book. See, Joe, I have a prop too. Actually, I have a couple of props. This very special book is a small, leather-bound book written by Bishop Brownell, our first president. In a moment or two, I will present this book to the Secretary of the Faculty, Professor Massino, for safekeeping for the 2021-22 academic year. Bishop Brownell's book symbolizes the academic commitment of this college. Each year at commencement, the Secretary of the Faculty returns Bishop Brownell's book to the President of the college, who then places it in the hands of each Trinity student receiving a degree. In this sense, it is a link with every graduate of the college. Upon your own commencement, you will be joined with thousands of distinguished predecessors who, like you, have been fortunate to study in this place. The tradition began in 1827 with the first graduating class, when Bishop Brunel wanted students to touch the Bible while receiving their diploma. At that first commencement, right in the middle of the ceremony, the bishop discovered that he had somehow mistakenly forgotten to bring the Bible. The only other book at the podium was the one in which he had handwritten the order of exercises. Without missing a beat, Trinity's first president simply used this book, as have all Trinity presidents since. Professor Messino, if I can ask you to come up. It is my privilege to present to you, on behalf of the faculty of this college, this book in full confidence that the faculty will continue to offer a liberal arts education to all undergraduates at Trinity. This honored book has been touched by each individual who has ever received a degree from this college. I now place it in your hands for safekeeping for the 21-22 academic year and ask you to return it to me on commencement day.
Madam President, I accept this book on behalf of my colleagues, and we thank you for your trust.
And now we come to the second book that is unique to our Trinity traditions. This is the Matriculation Book, and it's found there on the podium. It is the most recent in the series of volumes preserved in the college's archives since the founding of our college. All new students who are admitted as degree candidates are required to subscribe to an oath by signing their names in this book. Later today, you too will have an opportunity to sign this book and take the oath of matriculation, thus making a commitment to become an active member of Trinity's community of learners. Your addition to this book will serve as a reminder to you and to all who are witnesses that you will approach your responsibilities with seriousness of purpose and with exemplary judgment. As a scholarly community, the college has a formal commitment through the curriculum it offers to transmit that which has proved to be significant and long-lasting. In this sense, matriculation symbolizes the commitment to preserve, to transmit, and to advance knowledge. For you who are students, it signifies both the opportunity to attend college and the responsibility to seek your own education in company with your fellow students and the faculty. It is now my pleasure to invite Professor Messino and Dean of the Faculty, Sonia Cardenas, to administer the oath of matriculation.
Madam President, I place in your care these undergraduates as candidates in arts and sciences worthy of admission to all the rights and privileges of Trinity College.
New students, please stand, raise your right hand, and say with me, I promise to observe the statutes of Trinity College, to obey all its rules and regulations, and to discharge faithfully all scholastic duties required of me. I further promise to maintain and defend all the rights, privileges, and immunities of the college, according to my station and degree in the same. Thank you, and you don't have to repeat this, thank you for signaling your acceptance and for joining our college community. Madam President, in testimony whereof, each undergraduate shall hereafter sign the Book of Matriculation.
I would now like Vincente Gil, Samuel Omoaco, and Nancy Becerra Cordoba to come forward and sign the Matriculation Book. Vincente is the 198th student alphabetically in the class of 2025, and thus symbolizes the 198th matriculation at Trinity College. Samuel represents the transfer program. Welcome. And Nancy represents the individualized degree program. It's real. Newest members of the Trinity community, you have now learned about the student integrity contract and your rights and responsibilities within it. You have seen and will one day touch Bishop Brownell's book, which will unite you with all those who have passed through this college. You have seen and will sign this afternoon the large book that enrolls you in this college and in the ageless company of scholars. Welcome to the new academic year, and for many of you, the formal beginning of your life as a member of the Trinity family. You may be seated. Students, parents, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends, as we are all part of the Bantam family, welcome to all of you and welcome to all of us. This is a community of people who care for one another, hold one another responsible for our actions, take an active role in advancing the college, and enthusiastically support the next generations, paying forward the opportunities we've received. Convocation is especially happy. It's a happy occasion because it's when the entire community comes together to welcome our newest members and officially launch the academic year. You, the class of 2025, are survivors. You are surviving a pandemic. You survived a high school senior year where so many elements were remote for you. You survived a tumultuous year of racial and political reckoning, and with all of this turmoil, you pursued your academics, and you are here at one of the best liberal arts colleges in the country. Congratulations to the newest members of the Trinity community and all of the people who supported your journey this far. Congratulations. Now, how many of you have a relative who attended Trinity? How many of you are the first in your families to go to college? How many of you live within an hour of Hartford? How many of you had to take a plane or train to get here? How many of you are fluent in a language other than English? You see, we come from different places with different life stories. Yet each of us made a choice to join this community, Trinity College. Our differences can make coming together challenging, but it is our differences that make us who we are and that make our community deep and strong. Now, particularly the students and the new students, you will discover that in most of my speeches, I center it around a book that I'm reading. I'm an avid reader, and it's rare to find me not engaged blissfully in a book or two. This summer, I was plenty busy preparing for the fall semester, but I found time to enjoy several books. I love historical fiction and nonfiction alike. And as a side note, for you new students, when you see me walking on the long walk, you can almost always start a conversation with me by asking, "What are you reading now?" This summer, I read a book titled Rules of Civility. It was written by Amor Towles, an investment executive turned novelist, and he describes a clever, brash heroine who is introduced to upper-class 1930s New York society through an unusual and somewhat unfortunate set of events. The story follows the heroine as she defines her own values and observes the strict rules of civility to which others in her orb adhere. These rules and the title of the novel were based on the rules of civility and decent behavior in company and conversation. A book containing 110 principles that were transcribed by a young George Washington, our country's first president, and that originated from a set of guidelines authored by French Jesuits in the late 16th century. And it is said that Washington's act of transcribing these rules by hand helped him internalize ideas of civility, in turn molding his character. While it should be said that Washington practiced these rules imperfectly in an America scourged by slavery, I was struck by the importance of rule number 1 and its relevance to our Trinity community today. Quote, "Every action done in company ought to be with some sign of respect to those that are present," end quote. This rule guides us to show respect for one another, no matter who or what is involved. It does not dictate that we should respect someone only if that person looks or sounds like us or agrees with our opinion. No, it is clear. Civility calls upon us to respect everyone we encounter. This rule is as relevant today as it was 200 years ago. George Washington, who was trying to learn these rules of civility, was a teenager, not too far removed from the age of most of you who are entering as students. This is a time in your lives that you are explaining and exploring the rules of social connections and interactions and trying to discern how those rules will guide you and shape your own values. Trinity does not have a book of 110 rules of civility, but the college does provide guideposts and a space in which you can create your own civil rules. Without doubt, these rules will be based on values from your upbringing, coupled with those that you acquire here, living and learning in this incredibly beautiful campus where you interact with people from across society, across the country, and across the world. Your time here will give you an opportunity to develop the empathy, the careful listening skills, the discerning analytical skills, and the value system to guide you through your lives. And we will provide innumerable opportunities to use these rules to practice, revise, and revise. You won't get it right every time, but you will learn. It seems that in our society, we have lost some of the rules of civility in our interactions. This leads me to think about why. There's no question that political divides have torn at our civility, and these circumstances preceded our most recent presidential elections. The seeds of divisiveness have been laid for decades and are the fodder of incivility. Recently, I heard a troubling prediction from a political watcher in Washington, D.C., who foresees that every 4 years we will see a flip in political power between our major parties that will be swinging back and forth regularly, because each side will block, with complete lack of civility, any progress the other side tries to make. I hope that the recent bipartisan vote on an infrastructure package is a sign that this prediction may be wrong. But we can all play a role in changing this problematic prediction. We, here at Trinity, can be part of a more civil future. Higher education and Trinity's special brand of an urban, residential, liberal arts experience provides the pathway for our students' transformative educational experiences. This experience evolves from simply what our students do to what they live and who they are. That journey fosters not only their intellectual development, but also the social and moral growth that can contribute to a more civil society. As an institution of higher education, we, your teachers, your staff, your administrators, and all of our alumni and friends welcome this extraordinary responsibility and privilege to be part of your transformational educational experience. In 4 years, you will leave as ambassadors of the rules of civility, and we will model how to interact with others with respect. So parents, I am here to say don't quibble over the subject matter of the classes your student is taking. Don't worry if they are spending lots of time playing sports in clubs or volunteering in the community. Your students are here to learn both inside and outside the classroom in a manner that will prepare them to be civil, engaged citizens in a diverse world. What more can you ask for? I know a job at the end of it all, right? But I can assure you that our students have jobs, or are in graduate school, or fellowship programs, or military service when they leave Trinity. In the last 2 years, even with the pandemic looming, that successful first destination percentage has been between 93 and 96%. Families, we got that covered. A few are clapping. It's okay. And during your time here at Trinity, students, we debate and disagree, and we model a civil society. The world is watching us. Now, one more thing. As new students, you're joining the Bantam Network, an inclusive, supportive learning community. Each one of you is part of one of 10 Bantam Nests, which are organized around first-year seminars and supported by faculty, staff, and other students who will help you transition to college life and provide you with guidance in myriad ways. Earlier today, you were handed a box to be opened during this ceremony. Now please open those boxes and discover your nests. We are all part of the Bantam Network. And now I invite SGA President Dedrick Estrella to help us provide the start of the year with a lemonade toast to Trinity and the class of 2025. But watch your feet when you get out of there.
Definitely,
okay?
definitely.
You don't need that. I need that. You don't need that stuff.
Should I just begin? Okay. The tradition of the lemon squeezer says that it should be handed down to the class whose aggregate excellence in scholarship, moral character, and the qualities requisite to popularity are the highest. As we prepare to toast you, the class of 2025, we know that you will be worthy of this tradition and that you may someday come to be the possessors of the coveted lemon squeezer. Students and faculty, we ask at this time for you to retrieve the bottles of lemonade under your seats to participate in the toast to Trinity and the class of 2025.
Well done.
Nice, good squeeze. I'll do one more. All right, everyone, please bear with me. Should I just do one pour for everybody? Yeah.
And here, behold the lemon squeezer. Thank you.
Right, exactly. Boom. Set.
Today, we propose a toast to the class of 2025 and to all new students, as well as the college, not only for its extraordinary past, but also for its equally extraordinary future. May a similar group of scholars be assembled 'neath the elms or on the baseball field many years from now, eagerly anticipating the year ahead. And may they look back to our words and actions as examples of the best that Trinity can be. Hear, hear. Cheers. All right. It is now my pleasure to invite Dean Cardenas to officially launch the academic year. You have one. I'll take mine back.
Okay, it is now my duty and privilege to declare that the 198th academic year of Trinity College is hereby officially underway. May each of you excel in your studies and be moved and transformed by the ideas and the intellectual passions you are about to encounter. I now ask that everyone please stand for the alma mater sung by the Trinity College Chapel Singers. Please remain standing until the platform party has exited the stadium.